guys, it's April. This is day 11 of the 12 days of Christmas, and I have this little sign that I got from Target for $3. You can use any sign that you want, and you're just going to change the measurements of the file to fit your sign. Now, I cut mine at max at 11.5 inches wide, which is fine for me because I want a border. I don't want to fill the whole area. And they call this a chalkboard sign, but it's basically just a black paint in a square on there. There was a sticker with a star on there that I had to scrape off with my Cricut scraper because it would not get a little residue, but I'm going to live with it. If it begins to show through a whole lot more, I will go over it with just some black paint. So I wanted to show you guys how to use vinyl as a stencil, and I'm just using removable for this. Hopefully it will stick well enough. And I did put a weeding box around it, so if you guys want to cut yours in color vinyl, you most certainly can. I left that one in the file as well. You just need to size it to whatever size you're going to use it. And we are removing the parts that you would normally keep. So I am going to weed out all the stuff that normally we like to leave in there. And I'm keeping the box around it and all of the little fine lines I didn't think about in that ear. This is going to be really cute. I can get... don't do that to me. I'm going to have to stick him back down. This is the inner ear for the elf ear that I have in there, or had in there, I should say. I'll need to probably pull up my file. I may have to cut another inner earpiece because I weeded that too fast. I forgot a step that I wanted to show you guys that will really help avoid this issue. Get in there. I'm trying to do that without stretching it. I'm still a little off, but we'll get him in there. There we go. It may or may not be perfect, but there we go. If you take out your bounding box or the border piece and roll your vinyl, try to crack those lines a little bit. That will help with the weeding process. Should anyway. And I may have needed to cut a little deeper, who knows. But you're just going to weed out all of your letters. And all these little dots in the hat. But I am just weeding. I'm not going to make you guys sit and watch me weed the whole thing. I am going to pause the camera, finish weeding out all my letters on my teeny tiny pieces, and then, yeah, I think I should have cut a little bit deeper. Just make sure your vinyl's cut all the way. I should have test cut, and I didn't. I did not test cut my vinyl. A star always helps to tell you if you're cutting deep enough. I should have given it more pressure, or actually I probably should have changed my blade because I know it's dull. There we go. It's weeding okay, but you're just going to, I know it's hard to see on this white, but I am leaving the big square and taking out all of the little pieces that we normally keep. So get it weeded and come back and we will start our project. Hi guys, I just wanted to come back and tell you when you're weeding this, don't forget, don't take out the center of your letters like your O's. You're going to leave those pieces in there. So make sure that you don't just out of habit rip those out because you're going to need those in there to use this as a stencil. And I had a problem with both of my ears. I stretched my piece just a little bit, but that's because I didn't cut deep enough. Just make sure that you're cutting yours properly or you have a fresh blade. I don't know why I had such an issue with mine. I don't normally, even with the fine lines, have a problem with any of the Cricut vinyls. But that's the weeding process. I'm going to get all these little dots. I'm using my pen. I get this from Brilliant Vinyl. It's like a little needle on the end. Love that weeding tool. If I can get all those dots. Don't want any vinyl stuck to me because I don't want it ending up on my project and causing me an issue later. So now that I have that, I'm going to cut down a piece of transfer tape. Probably don't need the whole thing, just right in the center to help me hold it. Didn't cut that quite long enough. That's okay. I knew I would do that. But I just want the main part. I need to put a piece right there too. So I'm just going to, I don't have to worry about any air bubbles or anything in my transfer tape here at this point because we're just going to take it right back off. So I'm going to put that there, and this will be reusable. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a rub. You don't have to give it anything major, just enough to hold it. And then I'm going to peel the paper away from the transfer. And I may have a little bit of bleeding on the paint from my elf ears, but that was my fault. So you're just going to line up where you want this on your project. Looks good to me. I'm just going to give it a little rub down. And then I'm going to peel off, I say I am, the transfer tape. Wow, it really stuck to that good. This is a transfer tape that I'm testing, and it is not Cricut, even though it has a gray grid and it's clear. You can hear it's kind of crispy, but I really like it. I knew I was going to have a problem with that ear. Fix that in just a minute. These thin lines, you may have to give an extra little rub to. You want to get those down good. Now, if you're doing the color version of just the vinyl, please stick. I don't want to stretch my vinyl. These thin lines are kind of tricky. Work with it. You probably, if you use the blue grid transfer tape or your Cricut transfer tape, you probably won't have the issue that I'm having here. I do like this tape for glass. I'm not sure that I like it for wood, and I just tore mine. Not a big deal. Always on camera, always when it's or live. That I'll show you guys how to fix that. Not a big deal. Not when you're doing stencil. If you're doing vinyl, that's a big deal. Just gonna set that off to the side because I'm gonna need it. If I can get it to turn loose of my pen. I'm going to lift this corner and kind of meet in the middle. So my opinion of this on wood is don't do it. Good. But the glass is great. Set that off to the side. time getting it to peel up. There we go. Maybe I was just missing it. Just pull it back against itself. Should be good. You don't want to ever pull straight up on your transfer tape, as you will have a problem, a major problem. I'm just going to hold that down. While I pull back on that thin line, I'm just holding it down. The thin lines are the ones you have to baby on this project. I'm not going to be able to use this piece again the way I had to peel it, but alright. There we go. Now we're not worried about this sticking really well to this wood, because generally vinyl won't stick to wood very well unless it's really smooth. And this is fairly smooth, but there are some grains in it. Grab that piece and untwist it. And I'm just going to line it back up in there. Life happens. Oops, there it is. So if this happens to you guys, you will know how to fix it. Just save your piece, because it's going to come off anyway when we're done. There we go. So now I have that piece back in there that I ripped. Just take your time, don't rip yours. So now you have your stencil on. And I'm going to adjust. That ear looks pretty good. This one doesn't go over the way I want it to. Like I said, I pulled mine up. I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to fool with it. This is meant to be for a fun sign anyway. It doesn't have to be exact. Doesn't have to be everything so. But next you're going to take, and I like to use just the piece of backing that came off my vinyl or my transfer tape if I'm not reusing. I am using different kinds of paint. I have a black acrylic for touch-up, just the cheapo paints. And then I have some ceramic coat. And I like the ceramic coat for something like this because it does give it that chalkboard feel. So I'm going to be using that for my lettering. And then I have ceramic coat just because of the color. It may be the totally wrong color for the ears, but I'm going with it because I couldn't find anything flesh tones that I liked in any ethnicity. So I'm just going with some tan color that I have. And then I've got the Folk Art metallics. So let me just do a drip of gold. That's all I got, just a little drip. And I usually use makeup sponges for these, but my puppy got my whole bag of makeup sponges and destroyed them. So I want these little dots on this hat to be gold, and I'm just going to dab. As a matter of fact, you can even get yourself a paper towel and dab off a good bit of the paint, because you're going to do this in a couple of coats. And I only want it doesn't matter if it gets on the vinyl, but I only want it on those dots. And you can even just paint, leave those dots in there if you want, paint the hat, and then paint your dots, or put vinyl down for your dots. You can do these, because this little area is the trickiest part, because you got all these little dots. And don't worry about it full coverage. You're going to come back and recoat. So I'm just going to lay that one there, and we're going to go with our green. And I'm not sure if his top of his hat was green or the bottom. Let me double check that. And the top of the hat is green and the base is red. So let's do it that way. So we're gonna go with the top half. Just gonna put a little bit of, oops, that's black. That's not green. Here's my green. Do a little bit of green there. Just get a little bit on there, and I'm basically kind of dry brushing, and then I'm just going to stamp up and down, pounce up and down, stamp, whatever you want to call it, paying attention to the areas, and we're just going to pounce up and down, get right there on that edge. If you brush, you're going to brush paint up under the stencil. With this grain, I may get a little bit of bleeding, but it won't be bad. And I can use my sanding stick. I got these at Hobby Lobby. You can get them also at Amazon, but you can use a 40% coupon at Hobby Lobby. So I'm just going to come in here. If I get a little bit inside there, it doesn't matter because I can touch that up with the red. You can wipe it off. And again, don't worry about full coverage on your first coat. You just don't want to go above your vinyl. Just pouncing in there, right up next to those vinyls. And you could paint the words and do vinyl on this part if you wanted to, so you didn't have to paint these little areas. Totally up to you. I'm probably gonna need a small brush to pounce in there for these because that's really small. I'm just gonna go back and get the main area. I think I will get a little bitty brush for that, so. But for now, I'm just going to pounce in there as close as I can get it. I'll do my dots last. So I'm just going to set that one over, and we're going to go with a little bit of red. Maybe I didn't open this one yet. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring enough brushes in here to dab that gold out of there and use this one. And I have before just put my paint right up on my vinyl to work with. Whatever makes it easiest for you, but you just have to make sure that it's dry when you go to peel, or you may have a mess. Some of your paints will coat better than others. Again, I'm just pouncing in those areas. You can use any of your apple barrel or folk art paints that you have. For this, you can seal it with Mod Podge if you want to, or polyacrylic. I prefer polyacrylic simply because Mod Podge is glue, and if you have somebody happens to sit a cold drink or something on there, you're going to have a ring of white Mod Podge where it sweats. Now I'm just going to go back and do a little bit more green because it's dry enough to do that. That way I'll be finished with these colors. I'm going to dry that off so paint is not going anywhere. Get a little bit of my gold do my dots again. And just gonna tap right on my light areas with my red. And now I'm going to do my ceramic coat of my ears. I'm just gonna put a little dab out here. Ooh, that's way more than I needed. It takes very little paint to do these guys. You can see all the paint that I have left on those. And then I'm just gonna, again, pounce up and down. And this is, like I said, the ceramic coat, so all of the ears and the wording will be like chalk because it's got a different texture on it when it's done. And I'm just going to put a little bit right here. And then we're going to paint the lettering. I don't mean to shake the camera. Really didn't mean to. I hit it with my foot there. But we're just covering all of those letters. Remember, don't brush. And I'm getting a few air bubbles pouncing with this brush here, and that's why I like makeup sponges. I don't have that happening, but it'll be okay. It won't show bad. We'll smooth it out on our second coat. Now, if you're concerned about bleeding, what you can do before you paint, because this is a painted black background, you can do a coat of black over the entire thing and then come in and paint it. And that way, if you have any bleeds, the bleeds will be black and kind of seal your design. And when you peel it, you won't see the bleeds because it will already be sealed. What bleeds will be black on the black surface. So when you're working on a painted surface, that is a way to avoid bleeds as well. And all you would do is just go around and tap with a brush. Of course, I don't have a brush, but that way if you get any bleeds, it's going to be black where it bleeds, and then you don't have to worry about doing the touch-ups. I'm just going to give that black a minute to dry where I showed you guys that. Picked up a hair or something on my brush. There we go. And that one looks like it's going to take 3 coats. So I'm just going to go over these areas where I have none of the black. Dab off any excess wet. There we go. Just go right back over it. Don't have enough white out. Oh, that's gonna be more than enough. I think this is going to be a really cute, easy project for you guys. You can even let your kids help with it. It's all water-based paint. Give them something to do out on the patio. Of course, I would watch them, so your patio didn't end up painted, but I'm just kind of blotting this to get rid of some of those air bubbles that I created with these sponge brushes. It is supposed to look like chalk, so we don't want to get too... Paint is different than vinyl. If you want perfection, vinyl is probably your way to go. Just getting up some of this excess paint here. And then we can move this out of the way so we don't get it on our project. I'm going to live with the ears. I think that they're coated enough. And then we're just going to come up and get the corner of our vinyl. And we're going to peel it away. Be careful not to get paint on you. If you have paint on your hands, give it a second to dry so that you can peel these up. I like to peel this wet. Some people like to peel it dry. And you can see I've got a little bit of bleeding from the grain in mine. And I'm okay with that. Trying to get rid of these little painted pieces of vinyl. But if you're worried about getting paint on your sign, by all means let it dry and then peel. I have a baby wipe over there that will work. Grab a baby wipe to get this off my fingers so that I can pick at this. It's so cute. You can see right here where I did right there on that L, and right here there's no bleeding because I used that black paint. I'm just taking a baby wipe and going in there. I hit my L though. Wiping up some of that, but that's what this is for. You can come in here if you have any of those light bleeds, and you can just, you want to wait till it dries, because if you hit it in paint you're going to have to do it again. And then you can just sand out any of those little bleeds, but this part you want to wait till it dries. I'm not going to make you guys sit and watch paint dry. But if you have any bleeds you're not happy with or you just can't live with, you're just going to come in with the sanding stick and just clean them up. You don't want to sand hard enough that you take off your black, but should you, just touch up with a small thin paintbrush and get that black off of there. I'm going to flip this around so I don't get my hand in that white paint that's wet, and remove these small pieces of vinyl. There we go. Not all of them came out. There we go. Perfect. And I have a little bit of green on my gold dot there, and I'm just going to get a small paintbrush and dab that and touch it up, which you'll see in the photos. I don't know if I can get it off with the baby wipe. Yeah, I'm just going to put some gold on there and touch up my dot where I got green on it there. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Super easy. Let's get these little ones out of the ears. And then I have to clean the paint off of my pen here. There we go. Super cute. I love this. So you can put anything you want. Again, this file is available. Any of you who want to change what it says to something else, I did use the Pirates font on this, and I did use my font book or your character map if you're on a Windows to get the fancy lettering, so you can go in and you can play around with that. Super simple, super easy project. You guys enjoy. Little elf cookies tray or any sign, anything like that that you want to do. Your application's basically going to be the exact same thing. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll catch you on day 12.